The second is transcendence. The third is gratitude. The fourth is imagination. On that note of transcendence, I acknowledge and humble myself, submit, surrender to that power. Above all, that transcendent power, that is love, that is oneness, that is compassion, that is grace. That transcendent power that has manifested and recreated itself in each and every one of us here in its own image and likeness. So that even as we exclude, even as we discriminate against each other, that transcendent power and oneness brings us all together. Draws us close and brings us to a common center of consciousness, which is love. 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 Which, to my understanding, represents that supreme and abiding commitment to the well-being of others. Love. Love. In the fire next time, in that book, The Fire Next Time, James Baldwin says to us about love that it is so desperately sought and so cunningly avoided. He says it takes away the masks that we fear we cannot live without, and yet know we cannot live within love. And Fyodor Dostoevsky says to us, hell is the inability to love. And if love won't swing open the gates of hell, then nothing will. Love. That's what draws us together. That's what brings us here from our various walks of life and stations. We converge at this center of gravity, love. What does it mean in real terms, in flesh and blood terms? What does this love mean? It means we err, and we err dangerously. When we can stand by the sidelines and watch one of us languish, his remains, his mortal remains, stay in a mortuary for close to 3 years, and we deny him the dignity of a burial in his ancestral land, then love has deserted us. We've alienated ourselves from that transcendent power. We are destitute of love if we behave that way towards each other. That is troubling enough. But what troubled me more was to sit and watch and listen to the thunderous silence of the righteous, the prayerful, the convicted, the believers. Where is the holy outrage? Where was the righteous indignation when this man's remains languished in that place? Where were we, all of us? Where did we stand in that moment of crisis? What did we say? Where's the love? That's a troubling question. It troubles me. It wakes me up at night, torments me. I who have been called, I believe, or called myself, if nobody believes, to serve humanity and serve human rights, human rights, human rights. What is human rights? Where do these rights come from? They don't come from me. They don't come from the Constitution. No, they don't. They are traceable to a source above and beyond, outside of that fading parchment that we call the Constitution. They are traceable to that transcendent power, that potency that has represented itself in each and every one of us. That's where these rights come from. That is why in the ecclesiastical Latin, they called it lex naturae, the law of nature, or lex eterna, the law of God himself. Human rights come from God. They don't come from me. So when I uphold them, don't praise me. Praise the Lord. When people's rights are upheld, give your thanks and commendations, your praises to that power in its grandeur, in its radiance, in its splendor, and its luminosity. Love coming from the transcendent, reaching out and radiating to each and every one of us, exhorting each and one of us to love each other. Love your neighbor as yourself. And we learn so much from this natural law. One of the things we learn is something the lawyers call natural justice. What is it? It comes from a simple illustration in that garden when God placed two individuals, one after the other, and he gave them an instruction. He says, do not eat of this fruit. He leaves them there to carry out this instruction. They defy, they transgress. He comes back. He knows everything. He's omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. He comes. What does God do in those circumstances? He asks them, what did you do? He calls upon them to account. God gives them a fair hearing. He listens to them. What do we do with each other? When we believe anybody has done wrong, we are quick to condemn. We have the propensity to destroy. We never sit and listen. We never pause and ponder and say to the person, what did you do? And so you hear the cries, the pleas, and the conjurations of an angry population. Lynch so-and-so. Kill so-and-so. Fire so-and-so. And I sit and listen and I say, the God that I serve would not allow me. I need to sit and to listen and to ask each one of those people that you condemn, what did you do? It's called natural justice. God started it. Lawyers adopted it. We honor it more in breach in our daily lives than in observance. It boils down to love. If all else fails, try a little love, try a little tenderness. Because in the ultimate instance, love is what justice looks like in public. I've spoken about love, spoken about the transcendent, the omnipresent, the omnipotent, the all-knowing, the all-wise. I tend to ponder on gratitude. Gratitude. And I remember the Apostle Paul writing to the church that was under persecution. In the church at Thessalonica, he says, in all circumstances, give thanks. Gratitude. In all circumstances, give thanks. We are here to give thanks and gratitude, to humble ourselves, to submit, to allow ourselves to become supplicants at the foot of that throne of mercy. Gratitude. Love. Love. Gratitude. Lethal combination. Love. Gratitude. Love. In all its forms and manifestations, rolled together, blended, and mediated by grace, unjustified and unjustifiable oftentimes, undeserved grace, extended not because you are deserving, extended not because you are better than anybody else, grace extended to you, flowing from the righteous throne of mercy. Love. Love. I've talked about lex naturae, lex eterna. We are called upon as human beings to promulgate our own laws, human laws, lex humana. That's what they call it. Lex humana, the law of man. What do? We say in that law of man, in order to be registered legally as a church, you've got to round up a minimum of 150 people. That's what we say in the lex humana. The question is why? Why? And so in my frail and fallible character, with the charges that I lead as their primus inter pares, the first among equals, sitting next to Nkosinathi Ndaba Kaulath, the vice president, we said, no, let's bring it down. Let's make it 20. And so now the lex humana changes shape and color. Its depth and thrust is shifting. It's moving towards the center of gravity, that area of common consciousness. It says now we're going to register with 20. And that's about to be the law, going through your parliament, and it shall come to pass. When I bring together these three strands that I've spoken to now, I've engaged with the Vice President and engaged intensely. Him and I are dreamers. Him and I are dreamers of big dreams, dreams of immensity, dreams of intensity, dreams that should transform the lives of the everyday people of this country, those on the downside, those at the margins, those who are catching hell. Their life is about to change. It is about to be transformed in a spectacular way. Him and I have engaged thoroughly. And I can tell you, this country is about to change. It's about to change spectacularly. It is about to become the hub, the heartbeat, the nerve center of the entirety of the African continent. And it has taken its place. It's about to affirm itself as the lodestar, the guiding light of the whole world. You watch, you wait and see. And we must now, when we do that, summon to the fore imagination. Imagination. That aspect of the mind that is neither modular nor formulaic. That has the power to recombine everything with everything else. That advances in insight by defying its own methods and presuppositions. And that envelops everything, every reality, under a penumbra of the adjacent possible. Imagination is coming to the rescue. Imagine yourself in that new order. Imagine your country. Imagine your family. Imagination. Imagination. When we venture truly into the realm of the imagination, we venture into the realm of wonder and miracle. We remove ourselves from the world of three-dimensionality. We free ourselves from becoming hostages of the three-dimensional reality. We live in the world, but we are not of it. Imagination. And you begin to see defined and marked clearly yonder on the horizon, a new Botswana, a new country, where the privations of poverty will no longer trouble any child, any mother, any citizen, any resident of our country. Imagination. Imagination to the rescue. Let me thank you at this point and ask for peace and blessings upon all of you. And confess, as I already have to all of you, my own frailties, my own fragilities. I am a broken vessel myself, needing prayers from you, needing solace and comfort. I have experienced firsthand betrayal. I have experienced firsthand ridicule. I have experienced firsthand rejection and denigration. I have stood firm, held firmly to the guiding hand of faith. And so none dare challenge me when I declare and proclaim that I am a man of faith. Deep faith. But pray for me. Pray for me. That at some point I may also probably become a saint. Right now, I'm just a sinner seeking redemption. Imagination to the rescue.